Hello, Recapers. Today's movie starts with a rich woman suddenly becomes poor and starts dating a creepy businessman for money. But when he makes strange requests, she wonders if his money is worth losing her self-respect. In the 1990s, when cassette players, stamps, chain letters, and big blow-dried hair are still popular, baby Annabelle is born. Two nurses, who are drinking on the job, playfully pass the newborns around. While putting them back, they accidentally switch some babies. 25 years later, Annabelle von Schlock, now a socialite, spends the night partying with her wealthy friends. She wakes up late and is shocked to see her mother's bloody face. Trixie von Schlock quickly explains that it's from her latest vampire facelift. Annabelle worries about her mother's health and reminds her about a past surgery that went wrong. But Trixie brushes it off. Annabelle tells her that if normal people can be happy with their flaws, she can too. Trixie gets upset and wonders where her daughter got such boldness. Meanwhile, at a grocery store, a rich customer gets annoyed with cashier Carmen Schantz. She criticizes his non-vegan groceries and refuses to sell him shampoo because it harms the environment. Frustrated, he calls the manager. But Carmen's daughter Aura takes over and apologizes to calm him down. The man Ingo is instantly drawn to Aura's beauty and drops his complaint. When Aura notices his Porsche keychain, she flirts, saying she's never been inside one because she's just a simple cashier. Ingo understands what she's hinting at. At the von Schlock mansion, the family meets with PR expert Olivia to discuss charity events for their summer party. Trixie wants a trendy cause, but Annabelle suggests actually visiting poor areas instead of just donating money. Suddenly, Trixie gets a shocking phone call. At the same time, Carmen also receives a call. At first, she thinks it's a joke, but when the person asks about her daughter's birth year, she takes them seriously. Meanwhile, Aura sneaks out of the porch after kissing Ingo. Her sister, Rosa, asks if she has broken up with the cop she was dating, saying this is the third time she's seen her with another man. Aura begs Rosa not to tell. Just then, her boyfriend, Jan, shows up and kisses her. Their brother, Siddhartha, interrupts, telling Aura to come home because their mother is freaking out. Annabelle is devastated to learn she may have been switched at birth. At the same time, Carmen tearfully remembers raising her daughter and struggles to believe she isn't her real mother. Both Annabelle and Aura take a DNA test, which confirms they are not biologically related to the women who raised them. Aura moves into the wealthy family's home, much to Trixie's delight, as she closely resembles her grandmother's portrait. She greets her biological brother, Aure, before meeting Annabelle. She then subtly implies that she is the real von Schlock heiress. When the family matriarch agrees with her and forgets to celebrate the occasion with Annabelle, the latter feels left out. Hurt, Annabelle retreats to her father Bolko's bedroom, where he has been in a coma for years. She shares her DNA test results with him, drinks alone, and lies beside him. Longing to hear her real mother's voice, she calls Carmen without speaking. Instinctively, Carmen realizes it's her daughter and assures her that it's okay if she isn't ready to talk or come home. The Schantz matriarch reminds her that they will always be connected and invites her to chant a Buddhist prayer with her. Unfamiliar with the practice, Annabelle panics and abruptly ends the call. Later that day, Annabelle walks in on her family reminiscing over old photos with Aura. When they come across a slide of Bolko with his daughter, Annabelle is dismayed that her mother doesn't even remember that moment. That evening, Annabelle confides in her best friend Moa, expressing that it feels like her family is relieved she doesn't belong with them, something that makes sense since they've always treated her like a loser. Just then, they notice a handsome man in the driveway and call out to him. When he approaches, they get acquainted with Benjamin Schwartz, a renowned business mogul. The magnate ignores Moisey and only bids farewell to Annabelle, hoping to meet her again. Moments later, Trixie welcomes their guests and announces the charitable cause they are supporting. Olivia panics upon realizing Trixie is reading last year's speech and tries to stop her. When that fails, Annabelle grabs the current draft from the PR specialist to hand it over. However, Aura snatches it away and shoves Annabelle to the ground before passionately reading the script in front of the crowd. Her confident and charming presence impresses everyone at the party, including Trixie, who announces that Aura is her long-lost daughter, someone she cannot live without. Annabelle is heartbroken to hear her mother publicly introduce Aura as the real Annabelle von Schlock. Devastated, she immediately packs her belongings and drives to the most dangerous part of the city. Shortly after parking her Mercedes, Jan approaches the woman and asks if she's lost. Annabelle reveals that she was swapped at birth and is visiting her biological mother, Carmen. The cop is shocked to learn that Annabelle is the real Aura, so he accompanies her to the Schantz home to uncover the truth. There, Annabelle meets her birth mother, who greets her with a hug and asks her name. Carmen invites them inside, where Annabelle gets acquainted with her siblings, Rosa and Siddhartha, as well as a lodger named Gurmod. Jan learns that Aura already lives with her wealthy family and excuses himself. Just then, Trixie calls Annabelle, demanding that she return immediately, but she refuses. Annabelle insists that she's already home with her real mother, who, unlike Trixie, doesn't care about money. When the von Schlock matriarch mockingly claims she won't survive without their wealth, Annabelle defiantly cuts up her credit cards and announces that she'll find a job to support herself. She spitefully tells Trixie to leave her alone so she can be with her sweet and funny family before ending the call. That evening, she asks Carmen about her father, but her mother admits she doesn't know his identity. Restless, Annabelle sits in the dark, reflecting on how much her life has changed overnight. Meanwhile, Aura jumps around on her luxurious bed, ecstatic that she finally gets to live comfortably. The next morning, Carmen wakes Annabelle while dressed as a furry animal, startling her. She learns that they're holding a protest at a fur shop she and her friends frequent. Initially, she refuses to join them, but when she sees Gurmod wearing a skin-tight suit with human muscles printed on it, she changes her mind and drives them to their destination. Unfortunately, upon arriving, she discovers that her convertible is missing from the parking lot. Distraught, she reports the theft to Jan, along with her missing Louis Vuitton bags. When he asks for the stolen vehicle's plate number, she has no idea and simply refers to it as Mr. Norris. Later, Annabelle claims to have job interviews with big companies, but Jan suspects she's lying to protect her ego. As a subtle way of helping, he hints at the recruitment agency next door. That day, Annabelle applies for several menial jobs, but she is either offered unpaid internships or rejected, despite being overqualified. Eventually, she lands her first screening with an employment agency, where the interviewer offers her schnapps to calm her nerves. After taking a shot, she answers the recruiter's questions, mentioning the elite university she attended and how Eton expelled her for accidentally blowing up a village bar. Annabelle admits she has never worked before but is eager to start. However, the recruiter informs her up front that she failed the assessment. At the von Schlock mansion, Aura ignores her boyfriend's calls and texts him that she's lost her voice. Moments later, Trixie excitedly shows her a magazine cover, featuring them as Germany's donation angels. She invites Aura to celebrate their success by going shopping. Meanwhile, Annabelle receives a call from Jan, asking if she knows where Carmen went. She accompanies him to the fur shop, where police officers try to stop the ongoing protest. Carmen is stunned when she sees Aura wearing a fur coat, as she was raised to protect animal rights. Disguised with a fox mask, Annabelle spies on them inside the store. She overhears the shop assistant inquiring about her absence, and Trixie discloses that Annabelle isn't really her daughter. She even admits feeling relieved that Annabelle ran away. Upon hearing this, the socialite throws a paintball at Aura's coat and rushes out before she can be caught. When Jan realizes who the masked perpetrator is, he scolds Annabelle for getting involved. Meanwhile, Trixie witnesses her daughter's arrest and realizes Annabelle overheard her hurtful remarks. At the precinct, Jan informs Annabelle that the fur store is suing her for 220,000 euros. If she doesn't pay, they will seize Carmen's wages and possessions. Anxious that she'll drive her family into poverty, Annabelle meets her clique at a bar one night. She confesses that she's broke and begs them for any job to help her get back on her feet. Unfortunately, Moisey ignores her pleas and MSY mocks her cheap shirt. Desperate, she turns to Lily for help, but the woman looks away and pretends she isn't there. As Annabelle prepares to leave, Ben approaches her and asks if she's willing to work for him. Grateful, she accepts the offer. However, as she leans in for a hug, the businessman unexpectedly plants a kiss on her neck. Taken aback by his advances, Annabelle begins to worry about the nature of the job he's offering her. Later, she takes a bus to the von Schlock residence and sneaks into Bolko's room. She painfully recalls the time her father praised her cleverness, believing she could do anything. But now, struggling as an adult, she doubts herself and is relieved that he isn't there to see her failures. Downstairs, Trixie admits that she misses Annabelle and that recent events have made her sad. Aura is shocked when Jan pays her a surprise visit and quickly realizes she was lying about losing her voice. She makes excuses for avoiding him and tries to reassure him with a hug, but her boyfriend, noticing how much she has changed, backs away. He tells her to call him when she's back to her usual self. Just then, they hear a noise upstairs. Jan climbs up to investigate and finds Annabelle, who begs him not to disclose her presence. He covers for her, saying it was just an open window. The two leave the mansion together and hang out by the gate, where Annabelle thanks him for not ratting her out. When Jan notices his girlfriend watching from the balcony, he flirts with Annabelle and kisses her. To his surprise, she reciprocates. However, the motion-sensing lights suddenly turn on, causing Aura to witness their passionate exchange. Realizing that Jan is likely using her to make his girlfriend jealous, Annabelle slaps him, but ultimately, she agrees to help him in exchange for a ride home. The following morning, Annabelle frets about whether she will get the job with Benjamin. Rosa reminds her not to drink schnapps, and Carmen reassures her that she will do well. Regaining confidence from her family's pep talk, Annabelle excitedly arrives at Schwartz Enterprise and secures the job after introducing herself and agreeing to a meager salary. She immediately begins tidying Ben's loft but accidentally stumbles upon items related to his intimate preferences. While struggling with the bedsheets, she falls asleep from exhaustion. When Benjamin finds her, he wakes her up and confronts her about the forbidden cupboard. He asks if his secret makes her uncomfortable, but she assures him that she doesn't mind and finds it normal for people to have personal desires. Impressed by her open-mindedness, Benjamin gives her a second chance and asks her to return the next day to clean his windows. Later, as Annabelle walks home from the bus stop, she is irritated by the repetitive honking of a car. Looking toward the nearby parking lot, she realizes that Jan has found Mr. Norris. Her jaw drops at the sight of the shirtless cop, unable to hide her attraction to him. They spend the afternoon driving around, eating fast food, and taking pictures like a real couple. Just as they are about to kiss on a bridge, Jan receives a notification about his girlfriend's social media post. Since it reveals her location, they decide to drop by and make her jealous. At the restaurant, Aura expresses disbelief as the pair walk in and order champagne. When they appear to share a kiss, she furiously approaches their table. To her dismay, Annabelle and Jan remain unfazed by her confrontation. She tries to mock Annabelle's job hunt and supposed engagement to Jan, but seeing that they are unbothered, she storms out. At the Von Schlock residence, Trixie plays Twister with her children in an attempt to bond with them. However, her patience snaps when Albrecht takes an important business call mid-game. She yells at her son and daughter, reminding them that they are supposed to spend time together as a family instead of wasting money on their own indulgences. Rather than acknowledging their mother's concerns, Aura argues that she deserves to enjoy herself after living in poverty her whole life, and her brother defends her. That night, Trixie visits the Schoen family and offers them money in exchange for Annabelle, but Carmen tells her that her daughter is not for sale. Annabelle glares at her mother with disgust and refuses the offer, insisting that she has a job and is capable of supporting herself. The next day, Annabelle arrives at work and is heartbroken to learn that Jan and Aura are back together. She tries to hide her feelings, but the cop notices her discomfort. Meanwhile, at Benjamin's home, Annabelle follows a trail of rose petals and finds a luxurious dress, a gift, and a Tiffany ring waiting for her in the bedroom. That evening, a chauffeur drives her to a mansion, where she meets Benjamin and realizes that his romantic gestures are an invitation for her to become his professional girlfriend. When she jokes about his unusual requests, Ben asks if her rebellious attitude has made her happy so far. Realizing that his words ring true, Annabelle remains silent. Benjamin assures her that everything will happen with her consent, and that he is willing to take things slow. In exchange, she will receive an apartment, 20,000 euros in monthly allowance, and any car she desires. Though tempted by the prospect of returning to luxury, Annabelle ultimately refuses his offer. However, Benjamin encourages her to reconsider, asking her to view it as a business deal. Meanwhile, Jan spends time with Aura and her friends at a restaurant. He notices that Aura has changed since becoming rich and asks her about it. One of their friends jokes that Aura might start acting like Annabelle. Yan defends Annabelle, saying she is the only one in their group with a real personality. When a man named Ingo invites Aura for a drink, Yan lets him take his seat and leaves, even though Aura threatens to break up with him. At his apartment, Benjamin is surprised to find Annabelle tied to his bed. He explains that he is always in control and wants someone else to take charge. Annabelle feels unsure but does what he asks, petting him like a dog. Luckily, a phone call interrupts the awkward moment, and Benjamin leaves for a work trip. However, he forgets to untie Annabelle, so she calls Yan for help. In the bedroom, they argue about her choice to become Benjamin's professional girlfriend, and about Yan getting back together with Aura. Their fight is interrupted when they hear that Bolo's health is getting worse. Later, at the von Schlock mansion, Annabelle remembers the happy moments she shared with her father. Shortly after he passes away, Aura apologizes for her bad behavior, and the family hugs, making peace with each other. Annabelle struggles to deal with her father's death, so she decides to accept Benjamin's offer and go with him to LA. At the airport, she says goodbye to her family. Carmen tries to stop her, but Annabelle insists it's for the best and hands her a check before leaving. Later, Guillermo finds out that Benjamin paid for Annabelle to be with him, shocking everyone. Meanwhile, Jan realizes that he truly loves Annabelle and rushes to the airport to stop her, but when he arrives, her plane has already taken off. As Annabelle looks out the window and sees Jan chasing the plane, she suddenly realizes that she doesn't want to be bought. She cancels her deal with Benjamin and demands that they land the plane immediately. When they arrive, Annabelle steals a police car and drives into the woods. Jan is surprised when she steps out of the car, but he tries to act normal. They joke with each other before slowly walking closer, finally sharing a passionate kiss. And that's how our story ends. What did you think about the ending? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown.